What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Trade for Yourself podcast, where my mission here is very simple. I just want to help you learn how to trade for yourself. So make sure you please please subscribe. Please listen to this episode from start to finish. I promise you, you are not going to regret this one. Please note that anything discussed in this episode is not financial advice. So please do your own research before investing into any stock. Before we get into today's episode, Webull is a great brokerage account for a beginner that wants to get into the stock market. Look, if you want to get 12 free stocks, 12 free stocks valued at up to $3,000, please click the link in my description. Click on that referral link, open up your brokerage account, put any amount of money into it, and Webull is going to give you up to 12 free stocks. Look, if you want some free money to help you get started on your investing journey, please click the link in the description of this video and you are going to get you some free money. All right, please tap in with me. Now, what is this episode going to be about today? We're going to talk about how I am making pretty good money right now on my PayPal and my block trades. Look, I talked about this briefly on my PayPal episode when I was talking about can PayPal recover. Please go back and look at that previous episode. But now I want to break down what the performance of these trades have been doing, how much money am I up right now, why I got in them, and what are the prospects that I believe that these particular trades have moving forward. Let's get right into it. Okay, everybody, so let's review the progress of these trades that I'm in. So let's start with the PayPal trade. Now, the PayPal trade I'm in is up over 53% right now. It has a gain of over $830 right now. Okay, I have two contracts of this particular position, and this position did very, very well today. PayPal, I believe, was up over 3% today. This position gained $328.36, a gain of just under 16% on this specific day. Okay. Now I have two contracts in this particular position. Now, let's talk about the block position a little bit. The block position, this position is up 62%, and I have a gain of $572.76. This position didn't really do well. Block was pretty flat today, so this position has been flat today, but PayPal is beginning to catch up to the performance of block. And note that I have two contracts of the PayPal and one contract of the Square. So that's why you see that I have a bigger gain on the PayPal position in relation to the block position. Now, how long have I been in these trades? Now, I got into this PayPal position on May 16th, and I got into this block position on May 17th. And just look at the description now. So let's pay attention to these options contracts. Now, the PayPal position, I have a $70 strike, which we're right under that, and the expiration is June 21st of 2024. So we're about a year away from this contract expiring. I have the same exact expiration for block, but the call is $67.50. Now, I'll talk a little bit about why I got these specific calls, but note that these are way out in the future, okay? And what this should tell you is that I'm trying to give myself time. I'm trying to give myself time for my positions to play out, okay? Now, the current value of these particular positions together are $3,875.70, and these positions have gained over $1,300. So these positions are actually doing pretty well, given the fact that I've only been holding these positions for a month, and fintech stocks have not been rewarded over the last few years. Now, just to tell you how much did I pay for these specific positions, my PayPal position, I paid $7.75 per contract. Now that's the premium, right? The premium was $7.75. So when you're trading options, you have to multiply that times 100. So per contract, I paid $775 per contract for a cost of over $1,500, right? The block position that I had, that cost basis on this contract was $9.20. I only have one contract, so the cost was $920.66. So I paid up for the premium because I'm trying to buy quality when I trade options. I'm not a day trader. I'm not a day trader, never claimed to be a day trader, but I trade whenever I see opportunities, and I want to give myself plenty of time to be able to make this happen. And so I mentioned these particular trades whenever I was talking about can PayPal recover on a previous episode of my podcast. And I think that it would be a good time to talk about what the progress of these trades are doing, why I'm in these trades, and what are the prospects, and what's my mindset and my strategy around how long I'm going to stay in these trades and what I'm expecting to receive from these specific trades. Now, let's talk a little bit more specifically in terms of why am I trading PayPal and Block? There's a few reasons why, and one reason is because I believe that the stocks were undervalued at the time of entry. These stocks were trading at pre-pandemic levels, but the businesses have grown a combination of revenue and profit significantly since that time. If you look back to Nvidia and you remember, if you were paying attention, Nvidia was trading around $108 in October of 2022. Now this stock is well over $400. And when Nvidia came down, Nvidia was at levels of pre-pandemic levels, but the revenue and the profit had grown substantially. So at that time, I was looking at it and saying that a company like Nvidia and other companies during that time, they were extremely, extremely undervalued, right? And taking all of that into account, I believe that some type of rally could come for these stocks because they've been so beaten down since 2021. These two specific companies have been beaten down so much since 2021, and I figured that they would have at least some type of rally in the future. Number two, I chose an expiration date far out into the future because I didn't know when the rally would come, and I didn't want to try to time it. And selecting a strike price relatively close to the money was important as well, because it will allow my contracts to become more profitable if they overperform and go deep in the money. And so when we look at the charts and we see how PayPal and Block have been performing, we're going to see how close they are to the money. And they're pretty close to the money, and they'll probably be in the money pretty soon. And number three, I wanted some diversification by trading both of them. They are both fintech stocks, so they're going to trade together, but one of them may outperform the other. So it'll be interesting. It'd be interesting to see how the performance of these trades play out over time. Okay. I do believe that these particular companies are good companies. I really truly do. I believe that they are good companies. I just feel that fintech is not being rewarded right now. And these particular stocks, they are not considered technology stocks anymore. They are considered financial stocks now. And so I feel that these specific stocks could actually help up the financial sector. And if we look at how they've been performing, I think that these specific stocks have a chance to continue to move higher and continue to get a bid from investors that are looking to find deals and looking to find stocks that are undervalued. Okay, so let's take a look at the chart of both of these companies, and let's look at what I'm expecting, and let's look at how the stock has been performing, and let's look at what has it been doing from a long-term time span, and then we're going to break it down to the short term. Specifically, what am I looking for in these specific trades? Now, this particular chart is a monthly chart on PayPal, and as we can see, PayPal went up the mountain and it came crashing down the mountain. And this is what I'm talking about in terms of pre-pandemic levels. The stock was at about $61 in July of 2017, and now the stock came back down to about $58.95 last month when it had its earnings report. And so I was pretty much just saying to myself, I personally do not believe that this stock is going to get any lower. I think that the stock has gone as low as it can possibly go, and resistance has turned into support from 2017. This shows you how charts, how these prices always matter, because you never know when these prices are going to come back. We're looking at a monthly chart. Even if we look at the RSI indicator, right? The RSI indicator, This is oversold on a monthly time span. Okay, this is oversold. And so I was looking at this and I was saying, PayPal is a more valuable company than it was in 2017. It's making more revenue, it's making more profit. There may be some questions around the company, but at this particular level, I believe that institutions are going to come in and buy at this specific level. Okay, so let's take a look at Block. Now, these charts look very, very similar. They trade together. We see what Block was doing before the pandemic. It went up the mountain and then it came crashing down the mountain. And so the stock came down, and the stock got to its lowest point in November of last year. The stock got some bidding, and then the stock came back down, but it didn't break down below this particular level. So when I was looking at this, I was saying, hey, this is a particular double bottom pattern that may be performing, and Block may be able to bid back up to this $89.97 level. That's a big possibility. And so when I'm looking at this, I'm saying, hey, like I said, I personally believe that there was an opportunity here, and so I decided to go ahead and get into it. Now let's break this down and let's look at Block over a daily time frame. Now remember, I said that I got into this position on May 17th. So May 17th, the stock price closed at around $57.76. That's where the stock price closed, and I decided to get in at this particular level. The stock has gone up, came down a little bit, and we can look at this. We can say, hey, this is the low. Made a higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low. Is trying to break this level and make that higher high. I believe that it's going to break this $67.79 level, which coincides directly with my strike price. My strike price is $67.50. And so I personally believe that Block is going to break this level of resistance, and it's probably going to play around this $70 level. Now, there's a gap when the stock had dropped down due to some news, and we haven't been able to break above that. I believe Block can break above 67.50, break above 70, and retest this gap of $72.55. That's pretty much what I'm looking at in terms of this stock. Now, in terms of the options contract performance, I'm looking for 100% on this specific position. I probably won't sell it right at 100%, but I want to walk away with 100% on this position because I believe that people are going to continue to buy this stock. And so I see good opportunities here. I believe that this $55 level, I believe that is the bottom. If you look at the chart pattern, that this seems to be an inverse head and shoulders to me. So the stock price is still, doing pretty well. And I like the way it's looking technically right now over the short term. I believe that it can continue to get some momentum. So I like what the stock has been doing at that point. And yes, remember, I bought this position over a month ago. I bought this position right at a month ago, but the expiration isn't until June of 2024 because I didn't know when the performance was going to come. I really, truly didn't know. And so I wasn't trying to time the market. I gave myself time, and I picked a strike price that was relatively close to where the stock price has been recently. I'm not trying to get a $90 strike price or $100 strike price when the stock hasn't been anywhere since $90 since February of 2023. I don't know what it's going to take for the stock to get back to $90. What I do know is that the stock has recently been at $67.50, and that has been resistance. So as we can see, I'm going to play it there, exceed it there, and see what I can do and see how I can continue to generate some income and some capital from this particular trade. Now, if we look at PayPal was up around $90 in February as well. That shows you that these stocks trade together. Now, PayPal had dropped down. It had began to consolidate for a while, and then the stock price just dropped. It just dropped, right? And there's a big gap level right here that I believe that PayPal will probably be able to fill. Now, again, I had a $70 strike price, The stock price hit $69.20 just yesterday. So look at that. Look at how the stock has been performing. I believe that PayPal is going to break this particular $70 level, and I believe it's going to close this gap. That's going to mean that my position is now going to be in the money. So what is the goal for the PayPal position? Because the PayPal position I have 2 contracts. The block position I only have 1 contract. The goal is to sell the PayPal position at 100%, sell that, have that profit on the side for the next trade, and have my other position running. The goal is to make sure that I secure at least 50% on the second contract that I keep running. But the goal is just to see what it can do, see if it can get back to a $75 level, see what the stock can do when it gets back into this consolidation level, and see how things kind of go. That's kind of what I'm looking at for this PayPal position. Again, look at this low, $58.95, right? Look at that, has been considered the low. We've had a higher high, higher low. Now we see the stock beginning to break out. We see these 3 green soldiers right here, 3 green days in a row. This looks very, very good to me in terms of the prospect of the company continuing to go higher. So, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Remember, I'm picking strike prices that are very, very close to the money. I'm giving myself plenty of time to be able to allow my trades to play out, because I'm not trying to time the market. Giving myself safety, giving myself time, and pick strike prices that give myself an opportunity to allow my contracts to go deep into the money. That's how I be able to get more profitable and generate more income from my trade. So as you can see, these trades are performing pretty well right now. Again, my PayPal position is up over 53%, and my Square position is up over 62%. Remember my strategy around trading. I do not trade every single day, but I trade when I see opportunities. And I have to give myself time, and I like to pick strike prices that are close to the money. Not necessarily in the money, but relatively close. Strike prices to where I have seen those particular prices actually hit on the stock over the last few months. Okay, that's kind of what I look for in terms of selecting my specific strike prices. Okay, I believe that these positions are going to go over 100%, and that's going to allow me to take profit, go into the next trade, and to continue to allow everybody who watches the Trade for Yourself podcast how I trade, specific trades that I have, and give you just a little bit of insight about how I think around the stock market. As always, I appreciate you all for tapping into another episode of the Trade for Yourself podcast. Please like this. Please subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you can be in the know every single time that I drop an episode, okay? Please reach out to me in the comments. Let me know if you think that this PayPal trade and this block trade is going to continue to do well. Let me know what you would have done better. Let me know about the expiration. Let me know how you feel about what I'm doing in these particular trades. As always, remember, this is very, very important for this episode. Don't pay for it. Trade for it. I'm going to tap in with y'all in the next episode.